It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm going to be taking a look at Citadels here, or more specifically the new 2016 edition of Citadels. This printing of the game has the original content in the game, it has the Dark City expansion of the game, as well as a bunch of new content that is brand new to this edition. My previous edition of Citadels right here already had the Dark City expansion in it, which added new characters, new cards for the players to build. But this one really is sort of a master set of the game. They've done some tweaks. They've removed some cards that they've found to be less than fun, things like that. The gameplay itself is a role selection game in which you're going to be drafting a role. You're going to be using that role to gather money, grab cards, mess with the other players, build up your district cards, and at the end of the game have the most victory points. Let me give you a look at how this works. Then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think of both the game and this new printing. The first thing you'll do in the game is decide what you want to play with. As I said, there's a combination of new content here and the original content, and so you have to decide which characters you want to play with and what special buildings you want to play with as well. You're going to shuffle up or pick, whatever you want, 14 of the special buildings and shuffle them into the player deck here, which I've already gone ahead and done that. And the rest will be removed from the game. And then you are going to pick the characters you want to play with as well. You can all decide, you can do it randomly, you can even use some of these setups that they give you here in the back of the rule book if you want a specific feeling for the game. So there's a lot of combinations here. And then you'll find the specific characters that you are playing with, and you are going to gather those up and shuffle them up, which I've already done here. And so as you can see, you have lots of them. There is Witch and Assassin and Magistrate for the first one, then Thief, Blackmailer, Spy for the second, and so on for every single number here. I'm just going to remove the ones I'm not going to play with. And you would line them up both for ease of play and because some characters are going to need to reference the line here. And then the number 9s, all the way over here, are only in play for specific player counts. 3 players, 8 players, you would use a 9. Otherwise, no 9 at all. Remove the extra characters from the game. Everybody's going to get 2 gold to begin. I'm just going to pretend I have a game here going with 4 players, all right? Everybody gets 2 gold. Everybody gets 4 cards. You give the crown to one of the players. Shuffle this up. Give everybody one of these handy-dandy cheat sheets. And you are ready to begin. So the objective of the game is to have the most victory points. And you are going to be gathering those by getting cards built, districts built into your city, or the part of your city anyway. And then at the end of the game, having the most points. The game's going to be over when someone has built 7 of these cards. And at the end, you are going to count up a few different things. But basically, you get victory points for the gold you spent on the buildings. You get some bonus points if you have different kinds. So 1 of each of the different kinds. There are 5 kinds, as you can see right there. And then you also get some victory points if you're the first one to complete the city. All 7, and you get fewer if you also get all 7. If you're not the first one to do it, but you manage to do it there at the very end. That's pretty much it. Scoring in this game is very straightforward. What is not as straightforward is the character powers, which is really what makes the game. So let me show you how that works. I'll move the pool of money just off to the side here so it's not in my way, and we'll begin. So whoever has the crown is going to be the star player for the round, and they're going to take all of the characters here. They're going to shuffle these up, and they'll reveal some face up and set some face down aside, depending on the number of players. So 4 players, I'm going to flip over 2 face up that are not in play. I'll also set 1 face down, which is not in play, and then I'll take a look at the rest. And I'll keep one that I want to be. And then I'll pass the rest to the next player, who will take a look and keep one, pass them to the next player who'll take a look and keep one. And then finally, the last player will take one and put the last one aside face down, and we're ready to begin. Now, the king will call out the numbers of the characters, or since you have this nice little line right here, you can actually say the names of the characters. And as your character is called, you will take your turn. So, very simple. Magistrate. That's me. The magistrate is the number 1. I'm going to reveal the character, and then I'm going to take my turn. On my turn, I can use the action on my character at some point during my turn. I can also take an action, which is either draw 2 coins from the bank and give them to my, put them in my pool there, or I can draw 2 cards from the deck and keep 1. All right. My power says that the magistrate in this case says that I can assign warrants face down to character tokens. I reveal the signed warrant to confiscate the first district that a player builds. Here's what this means. I have 3 tokens here, specifically for this character. One of them is different from the others. One of them is actually the real one, the signed one. No one else is going to know which one that is, and so I'm going to assign these to some of the players like so. Let's see, let me make sure I don't do something silly. Let's do that, okay? I know the 8 and the 7 are out, for example, so I wouldn't put them there. And that's it. And then I take my turn. So my turn could go like this. Let's say I take the 2 coins instead of drawing the cards, and then I get to build 1 time. I'm going to build this harbor. It says right here it's 4 coins. I pay those 4 coins. I play them in front of myself. My turn's done, and then we call out number 2. And so whoever has the number 2 character would go. No one took it, so we call out the 3. This player reveals they have the 3. And now my character would wait with bated breath, as would the seer. And let's say the seer is going to draw coins, and they are going to build a card. They're going to build this prison, which is only 2 coins. And so now they wait to see if I reveal this token on them. Because if I do, and it's the signed one, which I would only reveal it if it is the signed one, I would confiscate this and they get the money back, but I steal the building. That's what it does. And they all do something different. They are all going to manipulate cards, manipulate money, steal things from other players, shut them down, give me gold for specific buildings I've built, things like that. Lots of interaction in the game. Once everyone has gone, by the way, the king here would steal the crown, making that player the first player next round. And everyone has taken their turn, then we gather these up again, take them all back into hand, shuffle them up, and do it again. And it would be this player who does it this time. And so once again, they would reveal 2 cards. They would set 1 aside. It's the exact same 2. That's weird. And they would draft the characters, and so on and so forth, until someone has achieved 7 buildings, and we score up after that. Game's very easy. Really what makes the game different every time you play is these, right? As I already said, the magistrate, that's what it does. The number 2, the spy there, you get to name a district type, and you look at another player's hand. For each card of that type, you take 1 of their gold, and you gain a card. The different districts, by the way, are right here on this card. They're also on the corner of every one of these. And so, for example, you have noble districts, religious, trade, military, and the unique ones, which are those special purple ones that you only shuffle 14 of those into the game. And so the spy does that. The seer lets you randomly take 1 card from another player's hand, add it to your hand, and then you give them a card. The king becomes the leader for the round. You take the crown. You also get 1 gold for every noble yellow district. The abbot takes 1 gold from the richest player. You also get 1 gold or 1 card for each of your blue districts, each of your religious districts. The trader, you can build any number of trade districts, meaning you can build more than 1, right? And you also get 1 gold for every trade district. Green, they're color-coded, by the way. The scholar here, you get to draw 7 cards, keep 1, shuffle the rest back into the deck. You can also build 2 districts this round. And then finally, the marshal here lets you seize 1 district with a cost of 3 or less from another player's city, giving them gold equal to what you stole. You get to take it, put it in front of you, give them gold for what you just took, okay? Because the gold they have to then turn into cards. That's what counts. It's the cards in front of you. That's pretty much it. The special purple cards have all sorts of powers as well, and having them in front of you would give you some sort of special bonus, you know. So, for example, here we have, this one says that the rank 8 character cannot use its ability on the keep. This is the keep. And we've got the Wishing Well here, which says at the end of the game, score 1 extra victory point for each unique district in your city, including the Wishing Well itself. So that's good. You can go for heavy purple districts, you know, unique, and so on and so forth. That should give you an idea of how all of this works together. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of Citadels and what I think of this version, the souped-up version of Citadels. Citadels is a game I've liked for many years. It's a game I've had here in my collection for many years. And by the way, if you want to see a comparison of these two editions, I'm going to be doing a video showing just that, so go check that out. But I've always had a couple of small niggling issues with the gameplay. Mainly that I thought it was a little long, especially with more players. It's a game that I would avoid playing with more than, say, 4. Not because the interaction wasn't interesting, I liked that, but the game definitely would outstay its welcome at that player count. And so the new version, I'm happy to report, definitely tackles that head on, you know, and I think it does a good job of reducing that game length. I still am probably going to avoid playing with, say, 7 or 8 players, but I would be okay now with playing 5, maybe 6 players, you know, and the whole thing's just going to feel a little tighter. Partly they tackle that by saying the game's now over at 7 buildings, but really that's not a big deal because that was a variant rule in this version. Now the main thing that does it is that a lot of the characters allow for more building on your turn. They infuse more cards, more gold, more stuff into the game, and the ability to build more than once. And I like that very much, you know. And so I think this version really does do a good job of being sort of a master set of Citadels. I would very much recommend it if you've played Citadels before and liked it. If you've never played Citadels before, I think this is the version to get. It's going to include all the original content, that Dark City content, the new stuff, which is greatly put together, smartly done. I'm not going to go over all the characters and buildings and all of that, but they really fold in very well, and I like that. You know, nothing sticks out. And they've ironed out some of the rules from before. They removed some of the buildings that were a little more flat in their, you know, engagement. Some of the characters have been changed slightly, and so this one, I give it 2 thumbs up. I think it's fantastic. It is the version to get. The only thing in it that I think is less than stellar, let's say, is the coins. The new coins in the game are these little butterscotch-looking, you know, bits. They're good, they're fine, but my version, which I have here in front of me, these were even nicer in my original version, and so, you know, that's the only thing. But that's a minor nitpick that I have with it, you know, no big deal. So, I would very much say if you've played it before and you're ready for an upgrade, you gotta check this out. The look, the iconography, how much gameplay you're going to get out of the box with how much variation is in there now. It's very much worth it. Really, they did a great job with this one, and so this one gets a seal of excellence from me. I recommend it both for new players of Citadels and old players of Citadels. It's fantastic. The only reason I would say stay away is maybe if you abhor interaction or maybe, you know, being picked on, but otherwise, this is a super fun game. Citadels 2016 edition. Check it out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.